Welcome to Restoring Education in America with Priscilla Rahn. She's a master educator and author, leading the conversation to restore the American mind through wisdom, virtue, and truth.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Restoring Education in America. I'm your host, Priscilla Rahn, and I'm so excited that you've decided to join the conversation today. I wanted to remind you that it is 2026, America's 250th birthday this year, and I'm thrilled that I am retired from public school after 32 years, but opening a new private classical school called Excalibur Classical Academy. Our mission and vision is restoring America's heritage by developing servant leaders who are keepers and defenders of the principles of freedom for which our founding fathers pledged their lives, fortunes, and sacred honor. So if you have a young child that's starting kindergarten through third grade, enrollment is open right now. And something really exciting is that we have a very generous benefactor who is offering 100% scholarships. So come on and go to our website and enroll. Our website is excaliburclassicalacademy.org. We would love to talk to you, give you a tour, and tell you all about our curriculum. But something I'm really excited about today is I am going to have an amazing conversation with another educator. And it's not very often that I have a conversation with other music educators. So I am so excited to bring my next guest to the stage. Welcome, Ann Marie Pocklembo. How are you today?
Thank you so much. Very good. Thank you.
I am so grateful that we have been introduced. And I am going to share a little bit of your bio before we get into our conversation, because I want our listeners to know who you are. So Ann Marie Pocklembo is a high school orchestra director in Hamilton Township, New Jersey, adjunct faculty member at Mercer County Community College and New Jersey City University. Ann Marie is a violinist and violist whose career has long been focused on orchestral playing and music education for young people. She has over 3 decades of teaching experience and has served for nearly 30 years as high school orchestra director in New Jersey and New York. As a violinist, she has performed in the United States, China, Italy, Russia, and the Czech Republic, and has appeared 16 times at Carnegie Hall in New York. But the other thing that's bringing us together is your amazing op-ed that Fox News published. We'll get into that. But before we get going, I'm so curious about your start in music. Like, how old were you and what was your musical journey like?
Yes. So I began playing in third grade. I think I was 8.5 at the time. And from what I remember, we had a choice between violin or flute. And my mother said, which one do you think you want to do? And I said, well, my friend Patty is going to be playing flute. And my mom was like, no, I like violin better. You're going to do violin. I said, okay, you're paying for it. So I give it a try. I show up to school. And I mean, long story short, I had the most amazing orchestra teacher from day one. Her name was Alice Lindsay, and she's still with us. And I'm still very good friends with her. And she taught me from third grade through 12th grade on violin and orchestra. And then I also had private lessons starting later that year with her husband, Tom. So I had like the Lindsay family growing up as my music educators, and they were like my second family, and I'm still good friends with their whole family. So it was a really special way to grow up. And I think by the time I was 10, I came home from one of their violin recitals, and I remember standing outside of the car and going, Mom, I think I want to be a violinist. Like, I knew from the age of 10, that's what I wanted to do. And she helped me pick a college. I had a full tuition scholarship to Southern Methodist University in Texas. And then I had a wonderful teacher there, but he ended up going to Yale like during my senior year. So I actually switched into Rutgers University, got a bachelor's from there, and then did my master's in education at Northwestern University, and got a job right out of college in upstate New York, where I spent 3 years teaching at Monroe Woodbury. And then I decided to move down back to New Jersey to just get more gigs, like freelancing gigs. So for the past 30 years, I've been in Hamilton. So it's been 33 years total. that I've been teaching public school, mostly high school. I did 3 years of part middle school combined with high school when I was first starting out. But for the past 30 years, I've been teaching in 3 different high schools. I run the district orchestra program in Hamilton.
So that's one of our connections, not only as music educators, but I retired from Hamilton Middle School, and you are teaching in Hamilton.
Township. Yep.
Yeah, that's really cool. So did you learn, what method were you introduced to Suzuki? Was that the method, or was there a different method that?
No. There was a method book written by Samuel Applebaum, he was from New Jersey. New Jersey has like a really strong string heritage, I would call it. And so we were using his books. So I learned how to read right away. My teacher was adamant that you will learn how to read quickly. And I mean, to this day, I'm a really good sight reader. And I think it has something to do with that. Like, I spent a lot of time in orchestras. So you can put anything in front of my face and I can pretty much nail it down. But then, like, on the flip side, you want to learn how to improvise also. So I've been trying to, like, for the past 20 something years, I've been trying to improvise better myself. And this year I really tried to teach all of my kids how to do that. And we had a lot of fun just making stuff up also. So there's like a whole other creative side to that. So I'm trying to give them the best of both worlds as a teacher.
That's a sign of a great educator, is like trying to give them all of the tools. So for all of us in our journey as music educators, we had to make a decision at some point. Am I going to go the performance route, or am I going to go the education route? What was that conversation with yourself like as you were trying to decide which route you were going to go?
Well, I always knew, the way I envisioned it, I saw my life as, I'm going to be a performer, and that way I will always have something to do. On Saturday night, I'll dress up in a fancy gown and go to a concert. And it's pretty much worked out that way. My entire life, I've had gigs on the weekend, at least. And when I was graduating Northwestern, I mean, I had been trained specifically to become an orchestral player. I was in the civic orchestra there as well, and had every major conductor coming through Chicago. But I realized it would take a series of auditions, and there's no guarantee you're ever going to land a job. And if you do get a job, it might not be in the place where you actually want to live. Like, I was so used to New York, and I really wanted to just go back to New Jersey or New York area to live. And I realized, my chances of getting into the New York Philharmonic are probably not really good. So I said, all right, let's just go for a teaching career right now, because I've got the certificate. I'm ready to go. I have this piece of paper. I need to make money. I'm ready. And like within a week of graduating, I had a job that paid really well. And that was right over the border. But again, there were not that many freelance gigs up there at all, because it was like in the middle of a mountain range. So it wasn't the place, it wasn't a hot spot for culture. So that's when I moved down to the Princeton area after 3 years in upstate New York. There were a couple job openings here in New Jersey, and I picked the one that I thought would be the best choice. And I've been there ever since.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your journey in the public education system. You and I probably had the same experience, where we were probably approached by the teachers union, like, come join us, come be a part. Did you have that experience too, where you were courted?
I don't remember a whole lot, but I remember I was definitely in the union in New York. The first union I ever joined was when I was in school. I became a member of the musician local in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. As an undergrad, I was accepted into the East Texas Symphony. And I believe I played there for at least 2 years. So I had to join the union. So from my early 20s, I had a union card for the AFM. And then when I started teaching, of course, yes, they approach you when you're signing your contract. Would you like to be in the union? And it's just an auto deduct type thing out of your paycheck. When I moved to New Jersey, again, now it's NJEA. So I signed up. But I remember my dad always saying, like, never check anything extra. Just don't, no extra boxes. Do the bare minimum, see how it all works first, and then you can always decide later. So I remember just doing the bare minimum checks and getting my feet wet into the system and, going from there.
I remember joining the teachers union when I was a baby teacher, and it felt more like an association, a professional association. I would get a newsletter, I would get discounts on car insurance, and I would be with other colleagues. And at the beginning of my career, it felt like I was being supported. And then over time, I start to see things change. And then obviously through COVID, we really saw things change. And you have written an op-ed, and there in big bold it says, my teachers union calls it representation. I say there are 114 million reasons to sue them. Oh my goodness, unpack this for me. Why are you saying that there are 114 million dollars reasons to sue the teachers union?
Well, as we started to uncover all of the possible uses of our dues money, it's adding up to increasing millions of dollars of our dues money going towards running politicians instead of running our union. So, for instance, the case with Sean Spiller that myself and the other teacher, Marie DuPont, our case is that Sean Spiller has used over $40 million of our dues money to run for governor. So we're looking at each other saying, hold on, this is New Jersey. The cost of living is extremely high. Right now, we're all struggling to pay our utility bills, and just rent everything is very, car insurance, talking about, we're a densely populated state. The bills are very high. It's very hard to make ends meet. And after 33 years of teaching, I'm still not even making $100,000. And in New Jersey, you need quite a bit of money to make ends meet. So the nerve of the union to take dues money illegally, they're not supposed to be using our dues money to run politicians without our checking the box for a political action committee. So if you would like to support Sean Spiller or whoever wants to run for whatever office, there's a special box to check to say, I would like to contribute extra towards a PAC fund, and that will be used to support all of these people running for whatever office. So as we started looking into the actual situation, they're taking dues money and telling us, no, we're not. And yes, they are. They're funneling it through all these different names of organizations until it's so confusing to even try to follow it. But people have successfully uncovered this, diagram of where all the money is going, and it's being dumped into these funds that are used to run politicians. And we're all looking at each other saying, this is not cool. Like, we have so many issues to fix in education and with our contracts, that so much effort is being put into politics, but yet no matter who we elect, it doesn't seem to get any better. So what's the ultimatum? Like, what is the goal here? Is it them being self-serving, or is it to actually help us? But yet, no matter who we're told to endorse, we still have the same problems. We still have really high bills, and the contracts aren't getting much better. I'm not seeing a huge raise. A lot of my older colleagues kind of gave up lately and said that this is it. Like, this is not working out for various reasons. And a lot of people are either retiring early, switching careers. One of my feeder teachers just left for another district. I mean, there's a lot of problems that we need to work on. And when I see the people in charge do something self-serving, it doesn't feel like it's a warm and fuzzy place anymore.
You bring up a lot of great points, and there is a lot of dark money. I used to be not just a member of the teachers union, but I used to be a leader in the teachers union, and I used to be on the political action committee. And it's really interesting when you work behind the curtain and you see how the sausage is made, you know exactly how money, teachers' dues dollars, are being funneled to these candidates. And research has shown that about 98% of teachers union dues goes only to Democrat candidates. And so in Colorado, where it's very Democrat heavy, you know, we have a Democrat governor, the state legislature, all of our elected officials in Colorado are Democrat, but yet the teachers union is still unhappy with we're not fully funded. We're not fully funded. Well, you keep supporting these candidates, to your argument. You keep electing these candidates who don't feel any sense of obligation once they take our money as teachers to change anything. And when we see people are, you know, they don't have money for their classrooms, we're spending our own personal dollars.
Absolutely. Yep.
For strings or for a chin rest or for whatever it is that we need.
All of the music we play, I bought. You know, I'll spend hundreds of dollars. I'll say, oh, this is a cool piece. I guess I'm going to buy it for $100. You know, I just end up doing it because it's something I really want to work on with the kids. And in order to make it happen, I just have to buy it myself. Just, you know, there's no other way to do it.
Well, I think the teachers union has become very smart at funneling dues dollars to the things that they want to spend millions of dollars. And so I finally almost, it's coming up on 3 years now that I walked away and gave myself a raise. It was $70 a month. You know, for $70 a month, I can put gas in the car. At the time it was
and New Jersey, I think my district, it's $1,600 a year to be in the union. And each district will have a little bit of a different charge because the local will set how much money they need to run. Now, I work in a very large district. We have 24 buildings. So I don't know if that's the reason Hamilton might be a little bit higher with the dues. But I mean, average maybe $1,500 to $1,600 a year out of our paychecks. So some people do just say, you know, I give up that's going to be my raise. I'm not going to have that taken out of my paycheck anymore because I'm just fed up already. So it's sad, you know, I do believe in the value of collective bargaining and supporting each other. And I absolutely do call my union president locally when we have a problem, and she tries her best to help. But then you also see the limitations of what the union really can do in certain aspects. And then you weigh it with, well, you know, is it worth my time and money? And yeah, I mean, you know, New Jersey is a Democratic state. Democrats run the state, and that's how it is. But it's a public school, and there are teachers from all sectors. You know, I have colleagues, I have friends who are conservative Jews who are in the union. And I have friends who are very conservative Catholics. And it's the microcosm of the planet is in New Jersey, and it's a public school, and you're supposed to be representing everybody. But then you see people like Sean Spiller, the president who just left, and the new president, Mr. Beatty. They were out in Anaheim, California at a No Kings rally. Okay, what are you doing in Anaheim, California at a No Kings rally? You're from New Jersey. Okay, there was some kind of NEA convention, just happened to be the same weekend or something. Let's link it in. Okay, but they're supporting 99.9% of the time radical left actions. And how do you think the conservative people feel? It's a public school, and it's a public union. You're supposed to be representing both sides. But if you disagree with what they're doing, they will shut you down. Like,
well, I'll go even a step further, Ann Marie, to your point. The teachers union should be supporting initiatives and policies that strengthen the system and strengthen educators and develop master teachers. Like that should be the focus, not social justice fights and wars, like to your point, because we don't all agree. So when we see the national presidents are making $500,000 a year, that's their salary, $500,000. And you're making less than $100,000, and you're actually the worker bee doing the work.
I've seen the waste myself. I mean, there was one time when I wanted to volunteer, since I'm in 3 different buildings. I thought, well, maybe it's my calling to step up to be on some kind of committee. So I said, I'll volunteer to get trained, and maybe I can be of help. So the union sends somebody to train me, and they come with a binder, and I'm invited to like a very expensive restaurant, and I'm encouraged to order anything and everything I want, and make sure you have dessert. We're paying for it. Okay, I was very finely wined and dined. And maybe 10 minutes of it was about this binder of whatever I was supposed to be trained on. And the rest of the conversation was the leader from the union talking about how he was looking at real estate in Llewellyn or something, like a very expensive gated community in North Jersey. So like the topic had nothing to do with teaching and everything to do with, ooh, let's order some more pasta, you know, and I watched them blow thousands of dollars on a meal. Mm-hmm. And I was the recipient of this. And I said, well, I know my dues money is going towards this, but boy, is this excessive. You know, I could have just met you in a conference room or at Pizza Hut, you know, but no, we have to spend top dollar whining and dining ourselves. And I just got a taste of that one time and I saw what kind of waste there is. It really is waste. Okay. They really live extravagantly. At least in New Jersey, the people who are the head of the union have a totally different salary bracket and different benefits, and they're not hurting to make ends meet. And Sean Spiller and all of these guys will say, oh, we're one of you. We're just like you. No, there is no way you are just like me.
Not when you're going to NEA and you have booked the suite, the presidential suite, and you have rented a car that's a very expensive car on our dime, and you get your flight paid for, and you can go buy new luggage because you can just say, this is for teachers, the teachers union. Like I've seen a lot of abuse, but to your article, at one point you say, at the same time, the nonprofit New Jersey Policy Institute has alerted the IRS and the New Jersey Election Law Enforcement Commission to potential problems with how the NJEA handled its political spending. They say that the union appears to have failed to report its multi-million-dollar donations to the Garden State Forward PAC as political activity, thus dodging tax rules. This is the teachers union.
Yeah. And, you know, we're waiting to see what happens, you know, if anything happens. But, okay, for instance, I'm a big Facebook user. I like to go on and share my music stuff. I'll share memes. You know, I share jokes. I post pictures of my concerts. And I was a member of several union Facebook groups where members belong. During COVID, something happened where a teacher from Hamilton made the news, and the person who was running the page made a disparaging comment towards them. And I said, hold on, they're a dues paying member. And until their entire case becomes public, you can't judge them. They're one of us. So I was blocked and removed from that same day because I was sticking up for one of my own colleagues. And then recently during the Sean Spiller campaign, I just outright said under one of the threads it came out to support him. I said, I don't know. I mean, the more I look into this, I'm not so sure about all of these PACs. I don't know if they're legit, like this one that's called Garden State Forward. Now, the minute I mentioned that Garden State Forward, later that night, I noticed I had been blocked and removed from the NJEA members page, which is like a private group. So that must have been the magic word, like something about Garden State Forward, something about that is a secret and it's bad. So there's got to be some dark money being funneled through there because nobody's allowed to know about it. And
so if you go and ask, so the teachers union doesn't believe in freedom of speech, and they don't believe in asking any questions or accountability. I
was even blocked from the regular NJEA page where you could go on it. It's like a public page where they just post their activities and whoever they're backing. Like it's a public post. And I was even blocked from there. So I ended up complaining to my local president who inquired about it. And, they said it was, you were inadvertently blocked somehow. We're going to put you back, but just be careful what you say. Oh, okay. So I was inadvertently blocked, but I have to be careful what I say. Okay. So I lay low, you know, they know who I am. And well, let's let the court system look into it.
Isn't that the culture, though, of the teachers union, to go out and protest, to go on strike, to go down to the Capitol and tell our legislators what we want? But the minute you question anything that the teachers union is doing, you get blocked and told to watch yourself. like it's a like it's the mafia, which is what
Right.
they act like. Don't
Yeah,
threaten.
you can't have your own voice if you believe something that they don't believe. And who's they? There's a core group running it, and then we're supposed to be the sheep that just trust them with everything. And the minute you have a question and don't trust them, that's a problem. Okay, well, you're running on my money. Like, you're supposed to be working for me, but it's the exact opposite. We're just a money grab to them, and they're going to do whatever they want with our money. And it just has to stop. I am not anti-union. I'm anti-corruption, but we just happen to be in a state that runs on corruption. So, I'm trying my best to at least look into one aspect of something to see if something can be cleaned up.
Well, that's very noble of you. There is another option. We don't have to stay in the teachers union. I know for a lot of educators, and one of the reasons why I had joined the teachers union was the fear factor. Like, if you don't join the teachers union, your principal can come to you and fire you, and you don't have any protection. So there's an organization called Teacher Freedom Alliance. It's free to join. When you join, have you heard of TFA, Teacher Freedom Alliance, by chance?
It sounds familiar. I don't think I've looked into it though.
So they when you join, they give you $2 million of liability insurance for free, and they offer the same things. I'm going to a summer conference in July. It's really, really cheap to go. You don't have to spend lots and lots of money. They have great speakers, and then other educators are doing the breakout sessions, actually doing things that help us to become more masterful. So I would encourage educators, if you feel like you're hitting your head against a brick wall with the teachers union, you can walk away and join TFA and still have the protection. But you can stay in and fight from the inside as well. I mean, I think it's a strategy that works. But I just got to the point personally where I didn't want to give any more money to the Democrat Party and to the side that wasn't helping and taking my money and doing secret things and doing things like they did to you, which was blocking you. But Ann Marie, how can people follow you? Do you have a social media presence that people can follow you?
I mean, I just have my Facebook account, which is, you have to friend me if you want to keep in touch that way, because being a teacher, you don't want to, not that I post anything too inappropriate, but we're always told to kind of, keep low because of the students. You don't want to have them seeing anything that would be inappropriate. But again, I'm a pretty clean. People enjoy my posts because I post a lot of funny stuff. But people can always message me. I've had a lot of messages from complete strangers all across the globe since our case went public. I think it was October 1st. I get messages on a regular basis. You're my hero. Oh, I taught in Hamilton, but I'm retired and living in Florida, but good for you. So I'm hearing from teachers all over the place how they agree, and they had always wished somebody would speak out. And I don't know why more people don't speak out. I mean, I just feel like I'm in a place where I'm a veteran teacher. I want to leave my profession in a better place than what I left it. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but in any way I can, if I see something being done that's wrong, I speak out. Like, I can't just hold it in. I've always been like that with all aspects. And I've spoken out about many things lately where I saw something or had something done to me that was wrong, unfair. I will speak out, and people know, like, I'm an honest person just trying to say, heads up, like, this is happening. Somebody needs to do something about it. That's just how I am. Like, I can't watch something nefarious take place. I have to do my best to try to stop it. And that's all I can do. But I am hearing from quite a few teachers throughout New Jersey and even in other states how they totally agree that something needs to be done.
Well, Ann Marie, you are so brave to do what you've done, to file this lawsuit and to speak out. Don't stop speaking out and doing the right thing, because it's educators like you who are making the profession better and more respected, I should say.
And now that it's time to choose a new national president, Sean Spiller is actually in the running for a national president. So I think people just need to look to see what happened in New Jersey and say, can something like this happen on an even bigger level because do we want somebody who's had that track record locally here running the entire organization for the entire country? I'm just a little scared about how that would end. So just, a heads up to teachers across the nation. It does pay to do your research about the candidates. I know very few of us know the true backgrounds of the candidates that we vote for. And I think very few people vote, honestly, because we just don't know who these people are. So we're like, I don't know, just let karma take its course, that kind of thing. People don't do the research. I think in this case, it's worth researching what's going on with the candidates.
Well, that is great advice, Ann Marie, for us to close out our conversation today. I want to thank you for your time, and I want to thank my listeners and viewers. If you like this conversation, like, share, subscribe, you know what to do. And just remember, educating the mind without the heart is no education. So seek wisdom, cultivate virtue, and speak truth.
Thanks for tuning in to Restoring Education in America with Priscilla Rahn. Visit PriscillaRahn.com to connect or learn how you can sponsor future episodes to keep this message of faith, freedom, and education on the air.